Back 4 rows, off limits. Everybody move up. We're going to bring it in. We're going to have a close conversation. We're going to have quality bonding time, whether you like it or not. So, yeah, I think that leaves the front four, right? There are 8. Yeah, so front half only.
Okay, how's everybody doing? Yeah? You're here? You are, thank you. Thanks everyone for being here. Hold on. Welcome new covenant members. I think the Rudds and Ruth are the only ones here today, but I think we have like 9 or 10 brand new covenant members, which is really exciting. Oh, it does it like that? Sorry. This is the list. I did not realize it did it like that either. This is what happens when I drop names into a pre-existing document. Yeah. Oh, no. Okay. I thought I deleted the second one. No, it's okay. It's okay. These are the names. You really got them. Memorize them. Get to know them. Bless them. So today is one of our 2 official covenant member meetings. I think we're all used to having them monthly lately, but we're supposed to just have 2 a year. So this is one where we look to the future and we vote on our new NAV team members and welcome new covenant member as well. So I'm just going to walk through the agenda real quick. We got a hiring update that I will... Oh, I think I'm doing that one. Then a bylaw update that Vanessa is doing. Finance update. I don't know the survey update, hospitality breakout groups. Nick and Vanessa. And Nav vote. Christopher. Cool. Hiring update. So we have 2 job postings that are live right now. I think we have like 11 pretty interesting looking candidates for the scholar in residence position, and then about 7 for the Vesper venue and community manager position. And our goal is to have them both, at least an offer letter up by the end of July. So we're going to be working really hard to go through the candidates, and you've got a team, and I'm putting together a team to kind of review them together. And yeah, it's a really exciting time. You may be asking, but how are we going to pay for it? Well, don't worry about it, y'all. We're going to pay for it with the CMF, which is the Creative Ministry Fund. Both of these are one-year positions, too. So it's kind of, we're doing kind of a grant-funded position for each of these. And it's really exciting. I think that's it. There's that part that I kind of went over. What do the positions do, Brandon? Oh, I'm glad you asked. The scholar in residence, it's a part-time contractual role of 1 year that contributes to the teaching life of the community through preaching, theological reflection, and occasional educational/formational offerings. This role is designed to bring thoughtful, well-formed theological perspective into the life of the church while remaining primarily engaged in work outside the congregation. So writing, research, or some other creative theological project. So it's supposed to be kind of a mutual thing where we're giving someone the opportunity to have a little bit of extra cushion to work on a project of their own, is the idea. And then the Vesper venue and community manager is just someone to kind of own Vesper as an entity and to work on all the rental agreements and marketing and just letting our building be used for the way that it was envisioned to be used, for finding marginalized communities that need space but don't have access. That is the idea. Yeah, hopefully they will start to fund themselves. So hopefully, yes. Great question. You can send them our way, or we can get you a link to the Indeed page. So, any other questions? Cool. Well, now the part we've all been waiting for, the bylaw update. Yeah. Yes. Here you go.
All right, bylaws. It's so exciting. It really is. Like, this is a year, over 2 years worth of labor. So why? Why 2 years for something that is pretty boring and that, you know, maybe some of us don't feel very strongly about one way or another? The reason is because you may have heard the image illustration a few times, that if you catch something upstream, yeah, I know, catching something upstream. If you catch something upstream, it pays dividends further down the line, right? So what we're trying to do in the bylaws and a lot of our work this year, hey friends, do you see Miss Brittany? She is waiting for you. Can you please take it right up there? Can you race? Race to see who gets to her first. Go, 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 go. So the idea is that with putting so much work into our bylaws, into our structures and processes, what we're hoping to do is to streamline things so that in the future, we set things up for our success. So if we do the work now, then in the future, we'll be in a better place. So just a reminder, so just a reminder, the process, in 2024, that iteration of NAV, we had the bylaws, we reviewed them, we made comments, and then we went on some side quests, which was so fun. And so fun. And then made suggested edits, okay? And so then the 2025 iteration of NAV went back through it and made some suggested edits. And so the suggested edits that y'all saw when we initially presented our changes were the fruit of labor of 2 iterations of NAV and staff. So a lot of thought went into this. And then a bylaws committee was assembled that made suggested edits. So me and then Lindsay and Nick Z were the people that put a lot of the brain power and a lot of the work into the actual wording of these things, which I'm grateful for because I have like creative writing history, which is not super useful in building bylaws. But what is really useful is lawyers. So they were extremely helpful in that. And then we presented the bylaws to y'all at the fall member meeting. And then 2 forums were held and advertised in advance through the newsletter and announcements, and I think even on our Instagram page, so that we could host some commentaries and some discussions on the bylaws. And then we took those edits and put them into the version that you're going to have now. So the final step is that today, when you scan the form, the Google form, to vote on your new NAV, you will also vote on affirming or not affirming the bylaws. Cool beans? That's the update. Does anyone have any questions about either the why or the process? How long they have? How many? Wednesday. You have until Wednesday.
I'll send an email out to all of the covenant members and members of the servant, so the link to vote, and a summary of this meeting.
Great question. Any other questions? You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you. All right. What's next? Finance.
So I spilled on my pants, and I was hoping that, and then I like got it all wet, and then I was hoping it would be all dry by now. That is not true. Ooh, somebody just said I can't see it. Thank you. I do not have any slides, but I will say, if you want a full finance update, I did put one in the document that went out to you all with the ministry team updates, but I'm not going to take a ton of time because we got lots of other things to do. So, and my old eyes, so I'm excited to stand up in front of you all and say we're in like a somewhat decent spot financially, which feels really good. Yeah. After several moments of having to be like, "Hi, I'm Lindsay." So we have about 4 months of runway left. And I don't know, for those of you who have heard me talk before, generally the recommended is 3 to 6 months. So it's not like it's within the acceptable range. It's not ideal. Hopefully we can continue to build back. A big part of the reason that we are in a stable financial spot is because unfortunately we're going to be losing one of our beloved staff members. So I'll say bittersweet. I was going to say mostly bitter, but we're going to miss you terribly. But it gives us a moment, and the generosity of the Creative Ministry Fund and the funding of the 2 positions via the Creative Ministry Fund really gives us a moment to step back as NAV. So welcome to our new NAV members. Hopefully we're so excited to have you. To be innovative and creative and really visioning sort of what the staffing makeup of the church is. And so we will have a year to sort of figure that out, while also having a new NAV position, an outreach position, and hopefully an outreach committee where we are really thinking about, like, what does our church body need, and, you know, intentional about bringing new people into the community and things like that. So that sort of gives us like a year plus to kind of be figuring things out. And then next year at fiscal year, we'll kind of see where we are. And because we did, through the sustainability plan this last year, commit to having a balanced budget in fiscal year 2028, which will be September of 2027. I do intend to propose a balanced or potentially a slight surplus budget this year for our general operating. But knowing that two positions are excluded, right? Like two big expenditure line items are excluded from general operating. So like we need to be at a surplus with 2 full-time staff plus 1 part-time person that will be in the general operating, so that next year with potential growth we can sustain, whatever we envision long term. So that's it. But I'm happy to take questions. Or is everybody just done talking about finances, which is also totally fine. Yes. Oh, well, thank you so much, even with the spill. Appreciate it. Yeah, Allie. Ooh, so I have not run projections on how the solar panels will affect our general operating budget. I'm not even sure there's like a great way to estimate that, but I'm sure that if we had the wattage amount, I have not run those numbers.
They claimed it was going to save us 80%, but we'll see.
Electric bill. I don't get, so as the treasurer, I get like a utilities lineup. I do not have like transaction. I can ask for it, but I don't normally get or request like transaction by transaction line items. Yeah. Yeah, and then I guess on the other side of that is we do have some unexpected, fairly major building expenses that were largely covered by insurance, but we did have some additional expenses that were out of pocket. So actually, we have these different funds, and our general operating fund is actually right now at a slight surplus, but because so much money came out of the building fund that essentially didn't exist, like the building fund did not account for, like we didn't have that equity in the building fund, we're right now sitting at about a $48,000 deficit, but with the last big insurance check that's gonna come in, we're gonna be at about -30, and which gives us, we're quite a bit ahead of where we were last year, and then with 1/3 of the year left, we would be looking right at about -45, and we budgeted for, I think it was -58. All right, thanks everybody. It's you and Nick, right? Yeah.
All right. So actually, Nick is not coming up here, but he gave me some thoughts. So I'm okay. So our discussion today is going to be centering around like creative brainstorming and having some dialogue around healthy stances towards towards reaching out to our community and being a presence in East Austin. So historically, Vox has steered pretty clear of marketing intentionally. Like that was an intentional choice by that iteration of staff and nav. And we've been kind of reacting to our evangelical roots since then and swung really far away from doing anything sort of even potentially evangelical. And so what we're trying to discern right now, NAV has discerned that the city of Austin needs what we have and who we are. And so what we're trying to discern now is how do we do that without like inducing the ick in our members? How do we do this in an appropriate way that feels authentic to Vox, that's grounded in who we are and in our ethos? And so we'd love to hear your creative brainstorms on this. So our first question is, what does Vox have that the world needs right now? So what do you see that we do that is unique to us, that differentiates us from any other progressive church in the city of Austin? What makes us unique? So I would like for you to find a grouping of, okay, here's your rules, people. Your rules. So no fewer than 5, no more than 10. And a good rule of thumb is everybody talks once before someone talks twice. Okay? Yes. Yep. Yep. Current. Current and upcoming. All right, ready, set, break. I'll give you a warning when it's time.
I don't think the staff and NAV.
You have 2 minutes. 2 minutes, people. All right, y'all. Wrap it up. To make the most annoying sound. What is that? Isn't that Donkey from Shrek? That's like, I can't do it well because I can't make it like the wet, like. So good. All right. So I would love to hear some responses. And I would love for our NAV members or whoever was kind of in charge of the discussion to be the people to talk back to me. But I'm going to challenge you a little bit to first start speaking from a viewpoint that maybe you're not as comfortable with. Like, so if there was somebody in your group that was saying something and you were like, I don't know if I agree, present that first, because you're always going to talk longer about the thing you actually vibe with. You're welcome. Okay, so who would like to go first? Thank you.
I don't think there's anything that was said that I don't particularly agree with. I think that the dialogue our group had was really special and significant. A lot of the core themes we discussed were, the embrace of mystery and also contemplation and true welcome without like any sort of performative aspect to it. A really interesting perspective I heard, and please remind me your name. Jacob shared. He didn't share this in a joking way, but he actually really loves the coffee. And the way he illustrated it was, just the intentionality that we have behind our coffee process. Like in a world where people can get their coffee from a plastic Keurig pod, we take the time to get here early, boil the water, set up the filtration funnels, and make a very beautiful and delicious cup of coffee for our guests to enjoy, and our members and everybody. So, yeah, it was really special. Who's next?
Can we just shout out, because she's going to love the attention, Lindsay, and making do with a less than ideal coffee setup this morning. Oh, me, yes.
There was a strong resonance in our group around the idea that we communicate welcomeness, welcoming and inclusivity very well. Folks with neurodivergent kids in particular feel like they can come here and their kids can be themselves. And so it's a place that's very welcoming. We don't make people feel like they have to have their act together and have perfectly behaved kids all the time. Like a freedom to be ourselves and be real and authentic. But that's something that has always been a key strength of our community.
All right. Well, I did not participate in the discussion with the eye towards needing to summarize it, but we started off the conversation talking about the space for a few moments and just saying that the space is really special and that we hope to, in the future, do more sort of like true collaborative partnerships, like where we plan things with other people and organizations. In terms of sort of the reframed question of like, why do we and why should we exist as a community? One of the things that we talked about was that while we are seen as like, we sort of toyed with the word like progressive, liberal, more progressive space, that we are also deeply rooted in biblical tradition and that we do have a sense of sort of like core values, and along with that also that we are, we don't only focus on sort of like being mad against something, like who we are against, but it's more a welcoming, inviting space where like we know who we are and what we're about from a positive lens. What did I miss? Anything? Okay, all right. Sounds like that was it.
Yeah, our group had very similar themes. Like words that also came up was like a soft landing, a safe place for people who are searching or don't know, kind of also like the value of mystery. And then kind of also that this balance between like both a liturgical service but not super rigid and contemporary aspects. So it's like a pretty unique blend that maybe other aspects of Austin might not have. And then the same thing about like sharing this space with other nonprofits, and that, you know, we're a small part of what happens through the week, and just the value of being able to share this space with other nonprofits, and how that is, you know, like the people in Austin are able to benefit, and how we benefit from that as well. And that it's like a space that's being able to be a part of a space that's bigger than like ourselves, and it connects us to a larger story and a larger history. And then also that the values that we have that drive the community.
All right. Were there any other comments or things, like as I traveled throughout, that everybody was like, ooh, I have something to say about that? No? 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 Okay, this is just like teaching, y'all. All right, so we'd love to hear what kinds of outreach feel authentic and what feels inauthentic to who we are. So how do we let the city know of the goodness of God that is here? Okay, take a second, absorb, because it's a big question, and then talk amongst yourselves. Yes, Lindsay? Do we and should we? Yeah, like casting for the future, putting on your time travel goggles. What do you envision? Okay, talk. All right, party people. It's time for a talk back. Finish up where you are in your conversation. Boots and cats and boots and cats and boots and cats. All right, I am going to start with Lindsay because she's looking at me.
Okay, so we talked a lot about reaching people right outside our doors, and one sort of consensus reflection we had was by doing volunteer opportunities that are not necessarily religious in nature, but bring people into the space. Felt really good and authentic. Another thing we talked about as something we really hope to sort of hone is our process for like stewardship once people are in the door. So, and I know this is actually a conversation we've had on leadership, but like if someone comes to Vox for the first time, like how do we steward them and make them know not just that they're welcome on a Sunday morning at 10:30, but like that we were thinking of them later, or really honing that process and structure were sort of the two big takeaways. What am I missing? What? Artistry, art camp. Yeah, that was another idea. Well, talking about art camp and like how can we sort of build on that, whether by inviting the greater community or doing more of it, or things like that. What else? Yes, we did talk about the challenge that we have in this community, particularly that, you know, our demographic tends to not have large amounts of discretionary time. And so thinking about feeling energy around all of the incredible work and sacrifices that staff have done over the last year to really put in some really important infrastructure that hopefully we as a community can come in and really help with the labor part in a more significant way than we have in the past. Oh, swag, Vox merch. Water bottle stickers specifically was mentioned. So, yes. Thank you. Done as intentional.
Was that water bottle stickers or water bottles and stickers?
Yes, stickers to put on your water bottle.
Okay, so those are stickers.
What? That we can then bring to the coffee.
Brumps. Yes?
Didn't mean for that to come out like this.
We related the like for Vox for like stickers to not be like not like shipped like drop shipped from somewhere, but like done with the same intentionality that we do things like the coffee, like local artists, local print shop, local like hyper local and hyper like well considered and well done, not just like cheap, so to speak, but like yeah. So yeah, and yeah, being able to do like in the community and in, like in the Vox community and in the local community. So like having our merch represent our values. So.
Love it. Okay, who wants it next? Thank you.
Okay, so we talked about community impact. Like, we talked about how a lot of us don't live on this side. So instead of feeling sad or mourning that if we have people coming, it attracts a certain personality. We're looking for certain things. There's diversity in that, but you know, like I live in Cedar Park, and people live in South Austin, North Austin. So, what if we took advantage of community impact? You know, 20th anniversary. The newspaper, yeah, that you get in your mailbox. I found, I didn't even say it, someone else did, but I have found like new restaurants to try in there on the other side of town. We agreed that ick is not the word we feel about putting our name out there. So if we have something that the city needs, then let's do that.
Anything else from this group before I move on? literally open them wider? Are you trying to add to my building woes, Jeff? A2, Jeff? I'm kidding. Figuratively, yeah. Yes? But like from this? Okay.
As you might be aware, this is part of a longer conversation that we have been having, and we hope to continue to have. It should be more than just a one-time conversation topic. But I don't know if y'all have noticed, but there are some small things that we have done in the interest of becoming more mindful of outreach and hospitality. When the clipboard is passed every Sunday, there is a greeter spot that we didn't have before. I would encourage everybody to try at least once. To be a hospitable presence at our front door, try to meet someone you don't know. Also, I don't know if y'all noticed the sign that's out on the corner. It's a little hard to see because of the construction, but that's something our staff have already put together. It's kind of good to let people know that, yeah, that this is a church, you know, not a bad thing to let people know of. And then I don't know if y'all noticed, but one of the nav positions is actually the outreach lead. That's a new one. So we are appointing people to kind of head up this conversation.
I just want to give a compliment to Greenhouse specifically, because when I was thinking about, our first time coming to Vox, we walked in, no one greeted us. And I remember that now that I'm thinking back. And I found Vanessa, who helped us get our kids set up, to go to Greenhouse. And now we're in their midweek group. But for those that don't have kids that are coming to Vox, how are they being, what's the word from our old memories of church? How are they being captured, whatever? I don't remember. There's another word that was used in church. How are they being, I don't remember. Netted? No, but assimilated. But yeah, I don't know. And so I'm wondering, could we be intentional, just either people that want to do it or maybe like even Enneagram type of like two, because I'm a two, like who can be looking for those people and going ahead and being like not just greeter at the door, but hey, use your first time and not overwhelming, but like,
I shared a story of being, I used to go to a Presbyterian church back in Amarillo. And one thing that they always did was like every other month, instead of meeting on a Sunday, everyone would go volunteer at, like IACT. They're part of a bunch of different nonprofits and can go and volunteer and give. And then everyone would come back that evening, talk about their experience, tell about their stories, where they went, who they helped, and then share a meal together and do that whole thing. But I loved the fact that they were very outwardly focused and not about like, we're not trying to get people in the building necessarily, but going to where they are. And that, to me, is a fabulous way to advertise for the church because we're just going face to face. And I think that's, I didn't share this in our group, but I think that's our superpower is how welcoming and like caring we are for anyone that comes in. And I think we could do that really well out there as well.
No, you're good. Okay, come in here.
I'll try to keep it quick. We talked a lot about the nuance that we are facing as a community. One of the things that was mentioned was, the makeup of Vox is either people who have never attended the church or people who have attended, as Tim put it, attended the church way too much and are burnt out and need a place to land. And typically the kind of people that are seeking a church are maybe not seeking necessarily what Vox offers, but perhaps more of the normative experience of an evangelical American church. And also just the uniqueness that we have as a community that's made up of both extroverts and introverts, but like largely more introverted folks. And so we were kind of trying to think creatively about, we had spent more time in the conversation talking about how do we engage the people that are already coming through the door. Because, you know, we're fortunate to have almost half of our group made up of Vox vets that have been here for a while and you know that dynamic of like half of Vox is pretty consistent and the other half you might only see like once or twice a year, if that. So like how do we engage those people that are maybe the once or twice a year people or coming for the first time? And so we thought about like maybe another QR code on the liturgy with like almost like a connection opportunity, like, oh, do you want to know more about Vox, as opposed to just going to the back and talking to the person during the coffee break, but like actually filling out some sort of contact card and then the outreach team utilizing that to get them more connected to wherever they need to be. Another thing we talked about was maybe adjusting the script in liturgy around volunteerism and like the work of the people, and like if someone's coming in, like we pass the clipboard around, but maybe someone's like, well, I'm not a member here, so I feel intimidated to sign up to volunteer. But maybe shifting the script a little bit for that piece to make it more clear that anyone can sign up to volunteer and that we have very clear runways for people to get more engaged.
That's very useful. Okay, this group, I think y'all are the last ones.
Yeah, so like definitely notice the new signs, and like maybe a small easy thing to do to add to that is like just linking our YouTube page, so that maybe our YouTube channel, so if people feel intimidated to actually walk into our doors, a soft way to kind of be like they could watch it online, and then that might then kind of help them feel a bit more comfortable coming in person. Maybe hosting events that has like a better known like name within the Christian community, so then people come to hear that name, but then also are in our space, and then kind of learn more about us through that. And then kind of conversely, the people who already use our space, like, do they know about Vox? And so if people are coming in just through the Vesper side, how much do they know about Vox? And then what are their feelings about that if they do? Like, you know, and like, is there opportunity there for ways to help that engagement cross over a little bit more? And then we used to have a fairly large, and how we started was like through a college ministry, and so we used to have a very strong college presence, but that's less so now. And so just like ways to kind of with college students and kind of like that younger energy, and to kind of be able to attract people that way too. And then kind of just like, yeah, being able to continue to collaborate with other sister churches.
Awesome. Thank you so much. If you were taking notes today, if you could please, if you took analog notes, I am looking at my partner and spouse over there because he's amazing and he does that. Take a picture of it, and if you could send it to info@Vox Venier, that would be super duper. Or if you took digital ones, send it the same way. Okay, so now I'm turning it over to Christopher. Oh, also, wait, I'm so sorry.
We have this problem
Yeah.
from time to time.
Please fill out the survey if you haven't done it already. Go ahead and do that, because we actually take that information and we use it.
Excellent. We are near the end of our time. I just wanted to remind you that part of what we do every year is that we vote. This year, nobody was running contested, so we have Sarah Chu running for NAV position to be the community team lead, uncontested. Woo, woo. We have our very own Jeffrey Rosser, who is running for the greenhouse navigation team lead. We have Parker, who is running for the outreach team lead. And we have Marcos, who is running for the partnerships. I think in my summary I said partnership, but sorry, Marcos, there's more than one. So those are the candidates. When you click the link that is there, or when you get the email in about an hour that I'm going to send out to you that has a summary of today's meeting and also has a link to the voting thing, you'll have the option to either vote that you affirm each of those candidates, and you can do this individually, that you do not affirm a particular candidate, or that you abstain from voting for a particular candidate. So those are your three options. And just remember, if enough of you do not affirm or abstain from voting for people, that means you've automatically nominated and volunteered yourself for that role. There will also be a link to our proposed bylaws. These are the same bylaws that were talked about earlier in this meeting, that were talked about in two bylaw sort of meetings that happened on after Sundays over the last couple months, and that were talked about in our last covenant member meeting in February. Same bylaws, but you can see those if you want to look at them again. It's a great way to go to bed at night. That's what I've been using them for. And you can also then vote to affirm the new bylaws, to not affirm the new bylaws, or to abstain from the new bylaws. And same thing as before, if enough of you do not vote for them or abstain, then you put yourself on the new bylaws committee. So those are the details. I am super excited about the people. I mean, I'm super excited about all of you and hearing the great details and thoughts you have today, but really grateful for the people who have said yes to leading and being a part of NAV in this upcoming year. One of the things, as I was doing my own discernment, and it became clear to me that I had actually not planned out super well in advance, but realized was going to be a byproduct of the timing of my own announcement for saying that I was going to be stepping down from leadership, is being really grateful that the people who have said yes to NAV are saying yes to NAV knowing that I'm going to be stepping down from leadership, and that it's not a kind of a, oh, hey, we got on NAV, and we're super excited to work with Vanessa, Brandon, and Christopher, and oh, psych, Christopher's gone! And so really grateful for each of you for saying yes, knowing that this is a year that we're going to continue to transition, but I think I've also spent the last year learning from the School of Hard Knocks, learning to build in some great systems and supports, and I think are incredibly strategically set up to do some amazing things. I've told all my friends beyond the Vox world that it's like, why am I leaving Vox at this incredible time in its life as a church? Well, we know why, because his name is Michael. But otherwise, I really am really thrilled and excited about everything that's happening in our community. I think that's all that I have, except for to say, if you have any trash or things that need to be recycled, well, mostly trash, there's a trash bin that's in the center. If you could use that trash bin, not any of the others, because I haven't put the trash bags in them on purpose, because I don't want to take out 3 very small filled trash bags when I just took out 2 others. So please use that one if you have any trash on your way out. Otherwise, I don't think we need to do that today, right? No, okay. Thank you for asking, though. I really appreciate that. That's all I have. Are there any questions? Okay, am I the last thing, right? Then go in peace. Oh, and pay for your lunch on Venmo, which I've already seen like 20 of you have done, so good for you.